I know you're gonna dig this.
This is Rhine McLin, host of the Funk Music Hall of Fame and Exhibition Center's award-winning show, Funk Chronicles, recorded live here at DATV Studios in Dayton, Ohio. Skyping in all the way from Phoenix, Arizona, CeCe Peniston, a recording artist who has serious funk connections. Hello, CeCe.
Hello and good morning.
Good morning to you. It is such a pleasure to have you on this show. And once again, congratulations to you on being inducted into the Funk Hall of Fame.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's definitely an honor for me. So thank you so much.
You know, one of the things about being inducted into the Hall of Fame is that it is a recognition not only from others but also from your peers that what you've been doing is significant in the field. And tell me about how did you get interested into the funk and becoming a prominent funkster?
Well, I was a little shorty. I started out when I was little, probably about 11 years old. I actually started doing music. I actually found out I was doing this show that this teacher told me to do when I was about 11 and found out that I could sing. And ever since that point, I was like, hey, this feels good. I want to do this on a regular basis. So I started doing events around Arizona and people started to get to know me. And so then when different events would come up, they would book me. And that led to me doing the background vocals for another artist out in Arizona named Overweight Pooch. She's was on A&M Records. They were like, well, we love what you did. Do you have a song of your own? And I was like, well, yeah, this one song, but I'm not sure how you're going to like it, right? So it turned out to be Finally. So it's like ever since that point, we're at the 25th year mark. This is 25 years for Finally. And then, you know, being inducted into the Hall of Funk, I mean, what better blessing could there be? And I'm still doing what I love.
You know, it's not a job when you're doing something that you really love. And tell me some of the funksters that you've met that had an impression upon your career.
I would say one of my favorites since I was little was George Clinton. That's the king of funk right there. We actually did a show together out in, I think it was Chicago, like Taste of Chicago or something like that a long time ago. And I was like, yeah, I love him. And I don't know if this lady would necessarily be considered funk, but blues. And she's old school, and I used to sing to her music a long time ago. Is Billie Holiday. When I was like 13, I used to that's where I got the hey yes, all that.
Yeah.
All that and Shaka. I love Shaka. I don't know. She's like R&B and funk to me, and that's my girl. I love her. So I would say those are some of the people that I would say influenced me and that I absolutely love and admire. And you know, they're my peers, but I love hearing them too.
Well, could you name 3 highlights of your career thus far?
Definitely. I sang for President Clinton 3 times. I did the inauguration. I've done the inauguration. I'm sorry. I did the national anthem for him, and then another event for he and Hillary actually. What else? We did a show for the Pope out in Italy, which was really beautiful. And we got an audience with him. He gave us roses. We talked to us. That was great. And also I did the brand new Woodstock, which was a beautiful thing when they had the brand new Woodstock. That was a long time ago. It was me, Phoebe Snow, Mavis Staples, Thelma Houston, Shaka Khan. I mean, it was on the Today Show. I would say those are probably I actually have 4 when my songs.
Okay, give it to us.
5 top 10 hits right away on my album when it first came out too as well. So I know that's 4, but.
Oh, no, that should have been number 1. Name those songs for us.
Huh?
Name those songs on the top 5 that you had off your album.
So I had Finally, We Got a Love Thing, Keep on Walking, Inside I Cried, and Crazy Love.
See, everybody might not have known that, but now they do know what that was a highlight of your life. Now tell me, that I know this is probably going to be, but what is the most embarrassing experience that you had as an entertainer performing the funk that you may not want everybody to know, but it's not as bad, so you can share it with us?
Well, it's okay. And I think there's probably been several entertainers this has happened to. I was going around the stage, being cute, and someone had spilled something on the stage, and I actually slipped on the stage. And I was like, and I told the audience, I said, okay, I know how people do. I said, y'all can go ahead and laugh. Now that y'all, let's get it out the way so I can keep rolling. And I just kept going, and they thought it was funny because I didn't throw too much on it or trip about it. I just said, it is what it is, and kept it moving.
Where was this?
Oh, this was in the 90s sometime on stage somewhere, probably about 97 or something like that.
One of the things I had learned about you is that you have just completed, not too long ago, a show in South Africa.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, because that's, to be able to go back to, for African Americans to really go to South Africa and perform is huge. And tell us a little bit about that experience and what all it entailed.
And definitely, actually, there's a little bit of history. I'm gonna say this first, and then you'll understand the significance of what I'm about to say next. So I started off right after apartheid. They said that Whitney Houston was one of the first people to go over after apartheid, but actually I was the first person to go over, historically. They put it in the newspaper, it's documented. So for me to be the first person to go over after apartheid had ended was such a blessing. And then to now go back again and again. So this is probably my 4th time back to South Africa. This time it wasn't by myself doing my own shows. I did a tour with some other 90s divas, which was Crystal Waters, Robin S., and Sybil. And it was great. We went over there, we had sold out shows. We did arenas, 4,000 to 5,000 people. It was great. It was great, definitely.
Tell me, what do you think is the difference between the foreign audiences and the American audiences in their response to the funk music?
Well, I will say this again about at least about South Africa. The most beautiful thing about that is, for me, there's a different meaning. Music never gets old over in Europe. And I think over in the States, it's what did you put out last? What was your last hit that you put out? And they're like, look, we love what you already did. We love your current and your past body of work. And I think it's a different type of appreciation that is over in Europe than actually in the States. And for me also, one more point with South Africa, I feel hey, South Africa is the motherland. It's where everything started. So the significance is not only me being a performer, it's the meaning behind being there for me. And just, as a child looking on a map and saying, I wonder what it's like over in Africa, and to be able to travel the world and do what I do for a living and to see culturally what's going on in another, country. It's such a blessing to me that I can look and say, oh, that's what it is. That's what happened. That's the history.
So what do you have coming up?
I actually have a lot of things coming up. I just did Celebrity Wife Swap, by the way. I did Unsung.
Oh, wow.
But I switched with Kelly Williams from Family Matters. I just did Unsung, and that's still been airing, which is a good thing, blessing. I have a swimwear line that I did. I started called It's So Unique by CeCe Peniston. I did 4 fashion shows last year with it, and we're about to do a .com, get the .com together so we can start selling the bathing suits. Also, I have another reality show that I'm working on. In 2014, I did a bikini fitness bodybuilding show. And it's on my social media if people want to look that up. And I actually trained for that. So that was great. I'm actually going to do another one And with this being the 25th year anniversary, I'm looking to make a, before the end of the year, make a new video of Finally, so people can see what I look like 25 years later. I still have the outfit upstairs from the original Finally in my closet. So I'm gonna put that on and let people see me now 25 years later.
Well, what's unique about your swimsuit line?
We do a lot of repurposing. I take things that people want to throw away. It could be a small piece of jewelry. I'm like, save that. It could be a brooch. I'll break the back of it off, put it on a swimsuit, and I just take things that people probably like, oh, this is broken. I'm like, give it here, give it to me. I'll make something out of it. So I use the things that I go trash to treasure, and that's what we do with our stuff. So, everything is not the same. You'll be like, oh, how can I get that? You're like, well, you can't, because we made that just for you. So that's some of the things that we're doing. We will have some things that kind of like, they'll still be different from one suit to the other, but they'll be a little bit easier to do and to sell. But each one will still be different in some type of way.
As you said, you have a lot of things on your plate coming up.
Yes.
Tell me, what makes you so interested in the Funk Museum, and what would you tell people about why they should support this?
Definitely, I feel like it supports, well, the thing I like about the Funk Museum is that it brings notoriety to people who have a body of work, who have done the work and still are doing it. It lets them know, like, not everyone's gonna know everything about one person. It gives you the knowledge of who somebody really is, and it champions those artists. So I think that's a beautiful thing. Also, I just feel like, if we didn't have the Hall of Funk, that's just like the Hall of Fame, the Hall of Funk, just, it shows people who that person is and why as an artist, and the hard work that they put in. And so it's like I get the reward of doing what I love to do, but at the same time, the work that I put in and the time. So that's definitely the reward for me.
So what would you recommend to young people who are interested in following a career like yours? What do they need to know, and how do they need to prepare?
I definitely do a lot of charity work within the community. I have the Lots Foundation, which means Lifting Others to Succeed, and the CeCe Peniston Youth Foundation, because I believe, like, with what you give, you're supposed to be able to give back. As far as, when you're trying to get into the music business, always follow your dreams. Don't let anybody take you off of your focus, because there are people who are around the corner. Like, if you don't want it, there's always someone that wants it. So just always want it. Be a dreamer. Allow yourself to live, and if that's what you want to do, do it. That's just it.
Well, you make it sound so simple, but it's not. We know that it takes. You've had some difficult times as you are trying to achieve the ladder. But when you're doing something that you enjoy, some of that pain just helps promote the gain. Would you say that?
Absolutely. I've definitely not just had an easy road. I've, had 2 marriages. I've been divorced, married, you know what I'm saying? And my fight with, trying to have children. And that was something that I shared with Unsung, because I felt if I could help somebody else out who may be feeling some type of way about that, they'll understand that, hey, that's something that she's gone through as well. It's one of those things where I feel like my struggles have made me greater. Trust me, I've had my share of pain with being married, divorce, trying to have children. I wanted to share, like I said, to help somebody else who was there. My share of financial things going on at certain times, because I had different people taking care of my affairs and I didn't know any better. And that's definitely some advice I would give somebody. Sign your own checks. Sign your own checks. Know what's going on in your account so that you always know, where things are at for you. So, but through those fights, through the tears, through the anger, through everything, I have just said, this is what I want to do, and I've kept going. It hasn't always been easy every single day. I have days where I get angry about it, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. And then I remember how good it feels to hold the mic and be on stage, and how I'm able to touch lives and give a gift of song and make people smile and make them have memories. And that's the part that keeps me going.
What would be your favorite song that you have sang, or your top 3 that you would say that each time you sing them, they're just like, it's new to me, and and my heart is all into this because I really care about these songs.
I would say definitely my top three. Finally, it stands for so many things. So when I do that, it's like Finally is my baby because that's the one that I wrote. It's the one that I had a hand in. So for me, every time, it's really a blessing when I sing that. When I had wake up in the morning, I might have a slight attitude. It's probably Keep On Walking. And it's the things that I don't get to say on that particular day, or maybe feeling some type of way. I would say Inside I Cry, because that just encompasses that what you don't really get to say, but when I sing it, it's like a different story. I'm able to caress things differently and push that feeling out. So
you want to give me a few lines of Finally?
Sure. Finally, it has happened to me, yeah, and it feels so good to me, yeah.
I like that. Thank you with that. Okay, numbers. Well, while you're talking about that song, Finally, my whole emotions were with you during that, because what you said and what you didn't say spoke volumes. So I really can understand how that meant so much to you. Tell me your second song.
Second song is Keep On Walking.
And why is that one?
I like that because that's that song, like that breakup song for all my girls when, they've had the bad relationship and they're like, whatever. And they have an attitude with their man. I was like, whenever I lead into that, I always say, ladies, this is that song, where you look really cute and you see the guy that you kind of like, you're not with him anymore and y'all broke up. I said, y'all tell him this next time you see him, right? And so I'll just kind of lead into Keep On Walking. It's just that song that's kind of like a women's anthem. Women's anthem.
Now, just give me a couple lyrics of that one.
Keep on walking, I ain't talking to you anymore. You can just keep on walking, keep on walking. So the verse goes something like, sitting, waiting, anticipating, waiting for your call. Tossing, turning, my heart's burning from the things I saw. I'm sorry, baby, you can't play me. I just can't be used. Something like that. I
like that. I'm sure there's so many of us women out here can truly relate to that song. Okay, and what's the third one?
The third one is called Inside That I Cried. It's a ballad, actually, which people don't usually get to hear me sing.
So what's significant about that song? And then I'm going to ask you the third thing to give me a few lyrics of it. I like being serenaded here.
It's okay. It's okay. The thing about that song is, it's somebody who really has so much to say and can't say it. So it's easier just to sing it. So it's funny because actually my ex-husband, my first husband, actually wrote that song. And just something about it, it's just sometimes I've been the type of person where I can be like, and then I get really quiet and I have a lot on my mind and I'll kind of just go into myself. People like, you sure are quiet over there, you all right? And I'll be like, yeah, and it's just when I'm processing. So that's that song for me when I'm processing.
And how does it go?
It goes, the talks we had on stormy nights, I often rushed away when you were not in common sight. I was held by his embrace. I gaze and see the pain you feel to think we have to part. I didn't feel you love me, so I play games with your heart. So here's the chorus. It was inside that I cried. Something like that. It was inside that I cried.
Wow, that was really great. Those I can see why those top three songs are very significant to you. Now, with all the things that you do, all the things that you've listed, and there's only 24 hours in a day, and I know you got to at least sleep an hour. Right. What do you do in your spare time?
Really, actually, doing the swimmer line and just being involved in my business the way I'm involved, it really keeps me busy on a regular basis. Even when I'm off, I'm not off. I'm just not the type of person to be like, oh, I'm off. No, you're not. There's always something that has to be done, whether it's, getting ready for my show, packing, getting a photo shoot done, like today, getting prepared for that, doing interviews, doing shows, actually, working on paperwork or deals or something like that. So it could be different from day to day, but it's always just a lot. And I like to be moving because I feel like that keeps me being a dreamer, and it keeps me alive as a person and as an artist, to constantly be on a trek to a greater improvement of self, and as an artist to be a greater person and to improve my craft, rebranding myself, to reinvent all the time.
I mean, that is something that more people need to probably think about. And when you think of an artist rebranding themselves, that has to be the whole person coming in there, and because you only as good as who you are within yourself. Would you say that, CeCe?
Oh, absolutely. And sometimes, you just have to look and give a hard look in the mirror at yourself and say, okay, what's the good? What's the bad? What's the indifferent? How can I improve upon self? Trust me, there's days where I look in the mirror and there's a couple of things I don't like, but there's a whole lot of things that I love. And I put all that together and I put in a little pot and I stir it, and you know what? And I work on it, because I feel like we're a work in progress, and we're on this earth to go through a journey. And, anything that is bad, I always say, is God used, and anything that works and it's blessed and it's good, I say it's God blessed and God used. And either way, it's still for the greater good of you.
Well, just to do a little personal, we've talked about your career, we've talked about things that you like to do, and all your businesses and your travel and your music. Now I'm just going to ask some personal things about you. Now I'm just going to share with you. I've had a couple of past administrations, so I call my ex-husband's past administrations. It sounds a little more business-like. Okay. And so you've already told me that you had 2 past administrations. Tell me about your brothers and sisters. How many brothers and sisters do you have, and where are they, and how do they fit into your career?
I have 2 brothers and 1 sister, who I absolutely love, and I'm definitely really, really close to. And we're always getting together all the time. Like I said, I like to cook, so they're always like, "Hey sis, did you put something on the grill?" I'm like, "I sure did." I call it putting a thrill on the grill. That's what I do, because they know I like to do that. My other 2 siblings, my older brother and my older sister, although very close, they're not involved in my business now. My baby brother, he's involved in my business on a regular basis now. He used to be out on the road with me as my road manager. Now he's just involved in the day-to-day progress of everything that goes on in the business. So he's doing that with me now. He's actually like a model. He does jujitsu. He actually sings a little bit too. So he's got that high little falsetto like Philip Belly. I love that. So every once in a while he'll break it out. We'll go and go karaoke with each other. We'll do something like that. Go someplace hidden, like in a corner that they don't know what's going on. Me and my sister, although we get together, she has her own thing going on. My older brother. So everybody has their own thing.
Well, I know they're all very proud of you, and it's good to see that family is very important. So as we are beginning to wrap up this, and I really appreciate your time, I'd just like to go back to 3 things that you would like to say about the Funk Museum and David Webb's efforts to get you. And we're very happy to have you on Skype with us on Funk Chronicles. But tell us, we really have to try to encourage people to understand the significance and the importance of funk music. I mean, funk music goes far back to James Brown and beyond. And folks to understand that really funk music was our name, our title that we gave to music that maybe they gave Elvis Presley for rock and roll. And it encompasses so much. And so I would just like for you to give this pitch to folks who will be viewing Funk Chronicles on why CeCe Peniston thinks it's important for us to have the Funk Music Hall of Fame and Exhibition Center in Dayton, Ohio.
Absolutely. To everyone watching DATV, I would just like to say we definitely have to support the movement of having the Hall of Funk. And it's so important because it keeps, like I said, it keeps the knowledge and historically of what artists have done, what their music is. I would say to anybody out there watching right now that is looking at DATV, we have to definitely support our music, our artists, the movement of having the Hall of Funk. It not only shows you who the artists are, it shows you their body of work, it shows you their travels across the world and their journey, like everything that they've done as far as performing, singing, the people that they've come in contact with, the songs that gave you memories, like as a child, you know, you can remember what place you were at. So it's definitely important to support the Hall of Funk. It keeps us as artists in the awareness of the community and of people. So definitely you should support it.
And we are so appreciative. I don't think it could have been said any better, and I know that you will be donating to the Funk Hall of Fame some shoes or some costume that you wore. You got to tell me, what's the secret to wearing those shoes and doing all that dancing and carrying on? I can't even, my flats are too much.
Trust me, I've had times where like I've even gone on stage and I had one pair of shoes on and I had like a backup pair backstage. I'd be like, can y'all hold on? Because like my feet really, really hurt. And they'll just crack up laughing. I said, can I just keep it really real with you guys? And people love that. But trust me, some days it's like I've had shoes that I put on the wrong pair of shoes and I was like, oh my God, I started off in the wrong pair of shoes and I already knew it was a problem just because I couldn't move the way that I wanted to move. So trust me, a lot of pedicures, putting on the right pair and having a backup pair just in case you don't.
That makes wise sense. I just want to say that we thank you so much, CeCe, for taking time, and I know you've had a busy day, and we appreciate your support for the Funk Music Hall of Fame and Exhibition Center. We're looking forward to, make sure you send a pair of shoes because I want to see them, and a costume or posters to the Hall of Fame. And we look forward to you actually being in person in Dayton, Ohio, so that you can see what we've done so far in promoting the Funk Music Hall of Fame and Exhibition Center. Wish you a wonderful day. Thank you for everything. Best regards from David Webb, the Funk Music Hall of Fame and Exhibition Center. So this is Rhine McLin, host of the Funk Music Hall of Fame Exhibition Center's award-winning show, Funk Chronicles. Until the next time, keep it funky.
So to that, I want to tell you guys, thank you so much once again for having me. It's an honor, and I appreciate our interview today. And just wishing everybody out there who has supported CeCe or loves CeCe, I want to thank you so much for your support over 25 years. And I'm coming back at you with more. So thank you so much for having me, and you have a beautiful day.
Thank you, CeCe. And also, too, those pictures should be on your phone. I just sent you so you can see what was going on in the studio, okay?
Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much. You guys have a great day.
All right. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Okay, bye.